It's January 2001, 4.5 years after Ethan's autism diagnosis. Lisa Thompson is working an overnight shift at the job she was forced to take after her husband Mark stopped consistently contributing to the family's finances. Ethan is watching TV with his older brother Jackson. Mark is preparing breakfast. There's a knock at the door, and then the doorbell rings. Mark goes to answer it. Standing there is a sheriff's process server holding a stack of papers. Mark Thompson? Yeah, that's me. I have some legal documents for you? Mark's expression changes as he realizes what they are. He reluctantly takes the papers and begins to read them. What the hell is this? Divorce papers, sir. You've been served. This is bullshit. I'm not signing anything. Sir, these papers require your signature as acknowledgement of receipt. Mark clenches his fist. I'm not signing a damn thing. Get out of here. Mark slams the door, leaving the process server standing outside. Inside, he throws the papers on the table, seething with anger and frustration. Mark says to himself, she's really going through with this. She'll regret it. I won't make it easy for her. In the general population, the divorce rates vary widely depending on factors such as demographics, cultural, and socioeconomic status. However, according to some studies, the divorce rate is estimated to be around 40 to 50%. It's essential to note that the divorce rates can fluctuate based on various factors, including changes in societal norms, economic conditions, and individual circumstances within marriages. Additionally, statistics on divorce rates can vary depending on the source and methodology of the study. The divorce rate among couples with children with autism is higher than the general population, with some studies suggesting it could be as high as 60%. The stress of caring for a child with special needs, coupled with financial strain and other challenges, can put significant strain on a marriage. In cases where one or both partners already have other stressors such as infidelity, financial irresponsibility, or addiction issues, those factors can further exacerbate the strain on marriage and increase the likelihood of divorce. It might seem paradoxical, but individuals who engage in infidelity may still experience a range of emotions when their partner initiates divorce proceedings. These emotions can include feelings of anger, guilt, loss, or fear of consequences of the divorce, among others. Despite their own actions, they may not have anticipated or fully processed the potential end of a relationship. Additionally, there may be a sense of entitlement or a desire to maintain control over the situation, leading to defensive or hostile reactions. When Lisa returns home from her overnight shift, she finds Mark sitting at the table, visibly upset and holding the divorce papers. He confronts her angrily, accusing her of blindsiding him with the divorce filings. Lisa tries to remain calm, explaining her reasons for wanting to end the marriage and emphasizing that she needs to prioritize their children's well-being, especially Ethan's needs. However, Mark's reaction is volatile, and the conversation quickly escalates into a heated argument, with accusations and recriminations flying between them. Despite Lisa's attempts to reason with Mark, Mark refuses to accept the divorce papers and storms out of the house, leaving Lisa feeling emotionally drained and uncertain about the future. Strategically, waiting until after the holidays and while school was recessed for a winter break to have Mark served with divorce, Lisa gently explains to her sons that she and their dad had a disagreement about grown-up things, and they will need some time to figure things out. She reassures them that both she and her dad love them very much and that none of this is their fault. Lisa emphasizes that they will still see their dad, but that things might be a little difficult for a while. She encourages them to ask questions and share their feelings, assuring them that she and their dad are going to do their best to make things okay for them. This talk was mostly for Jackson, as Ethan seems oblivious to what just happened. Later that day, Lisa receives a call from Mark, who is still furious about being served with divorce papers. He launches into a tirade, blaming her for ruining their family and accusing her of being selfish. Despite Lisa's attempts to reason with him calmly, Mark becomes increasingly hostile and refuses to listen to her perspective. Mark says he's moving out and he will be by to pick up his things. Lisa volunteers to take the kids to visit her mom for a few hours so Mark can pick his things up. Lisa's mind races with questions as she wonders where this energy and passion were when Ethan was diagnosed with autism. She reflects on the countless moments when she felt alone in navigating their son's condition, often shouldering the weight of her family's challenges on her own. Now faced with Mark's explosive reaction to the divorce papers, Lisa can't help but feel a mix of anger and resentment. She realizes that despite her efforts to hold her family together, Mark's priorities have always been elsewhere, leaving her to bear the brunt of her son's care and emotional toll of their crumbling marriage. Upon returning home from her visit with her mom, Lisa is shocked to find that Mark has taken out his anger in a vengeful manner. He has not only packed his belongings, but has also trashed their home, leaving behind a mess of broken furniture, shattered dishes, and scattered belongings. Lisa's heart sinks as she realizes the extent of Mark's vindictiveness, and she struggles to comprehend how someone she once loved could act with such callousness. When Jackson goes to his room to watch TV, it's discovered that Mark has removed the cable box and taken Jackson's baseball card collection. The next day, Lisa discovers Mark has had the electricity turned off. Amidst the chaos, Lisa is thankful that she anticipated Mark's spite and is able to replace the electricity and cable in her name only. Several times during the weeks ahead, Lisa looks outside only to see Mark driving slowly past their home. Lisa's attorney advises her to document in writing every sighting and change all the door locks. At their first court date, tensions run high as Lisa and Mark face each other in front of the judge. Mark, still seething with anger, refuses to cooperate and engages in aggressive behavior toward Lisa and her attorney. He attempts to discredit Lisa's claims and accuses her of being an unfit parent, despite her efforts to provide a stable and nurturing environment for their children. The proceedings become heated as both parties present their arguments, with Lisa steadfast in her determination to protect her children and seek justice. Despite Mark's attempts to derail the process, the court grants Lisa temporary custody of the children and orders Mark to undergo counseling and anger management classes. This initial victory gives Lisa hope for a brighter future, but she knows that the road ahead will be fraught with challenges as she navigates the complexities of divorce and single parenthood. Although the divorce proceedings are stressful and chaotic, Lisa still maintains a peaceful home for her sons, covering up threats and foolishness that Mark has engaged in. Jackson is doing well in school, and Ethan is attending school and has home therapy as well. With Mark fighting every single ruling and fighting to not pay child support, their divorce proceedings are still ongoing in 2002 and 2003. Mark's vindictive behavior towards Lisa escalates. Fueled by anger and resentment, he resorts to various forms of harassment and intimidation tactics to exert control and instill fear in Lisa. This includes incessant harassing phone calls, threatening messages, stalking her online and in person, or even showing up unannounced at her home. Mark also attempts to manipulate their children as pawns in the ongoing conflict, using them to convey messages to coerce Lisa into giving in to his demands. Mark disrupts Ethan's ABA therapy and refuses to participate in any school activities for his sons. Despite Lisa's efforts to maintain her composure and focus on navigating the legal process, Mark's relentless harassment takes a toll on her emotional well-being and sense of security. As she grapples with the challenges of ending her marriage and rebuilding her life, Lisa finds herself locked in a battle against not only her estranged spouse, but also the psychological warfare he wages against her on every turn. Lisa can't envision her life in Southern California getting any better with Mark terrorizing her. In the summer of 2003, Lisa files to bifurcate her divorce, and the judge grants her request. Lisa is now divorced, but the property settlement and child custody and support continues, dragging its way through the courts. In August of 2003, Mark's reckless behavior finally catches up with him as he makes a critical mistake and turns the tide against him in the courts. While driving home from a baseball game, Mark is pulled over by the highway patrol for speeding and failure to maintain a lane. Mark fails a sobriety test in search of his truck, turns up a crack pipe under the front seat. Mark is arrested and charged with driving under the influence and possession of drug paraphernalia. Lisa would never have known except Mark was supposed to have the boys that weekend. It's a bittersweet moment as she grapples with the realization that the father of her children has reached such a dire point in his life. However, it also reinforces her decision to divorce Mark and seek a better future for herself and her sons. As Mark faces the consequences of his actions behind bars, Lisa begins to see a glimmer of hope for a brighter tomorrow free from the shadow of her tumultuous marriage. On Monday, Lisa wastes no time in contacting her lawyer to share the news of Mark's arrest. With a mix of relief and apprehension, she recounts the events leading to Mark's detainment, knowing that this development could have significant implications for the ongoing legal proceedings. As she speaks with her lawyer, Lisa finds herself grappling with a whirlwind of emotions from anger to frustration to a faint sense of vindication. Despite the chaos of the situation, she remains determined to stay focused on securing the best possible outcome for herself and her children, even as Mark's actions continue to cast a long shadow over their lives. Lisa's lawyer immediately springs into action, filing the necessary paperwork to inform the court of Mark's arrest and subsequent charges against him. With precision and urgency, they work to leverage the latest development in Lisa's favor, strategizing how best to use it to bolster her case in the ongoing divorce proceedings and shed a light on the true character of Mark. As the wheels of justice begin to turn, Lisa finds herself caught in a whirlwind of legal maneuvering, hopeful that Mark's indiscretions will finally tip the scales in her favor and bring her one step closer to a resolution that ensures her and her children's safety and well-being. When Mark appears for his criminal charges, he pleads guilty and is put on probation. Mark is now placed on supervised visitation with his sons and refuses to participate. Mark is now ordered to pay child support, and Lisa has his wages garnished. Will this pivotal moment serve as a wake-up call for Mark, forcing him to confront the consequences of his actions and impact they've had on his family? Join us next week as Lisa emerges victorious from her legal battle and makes a life-altering decision for her sons and herself. This episode is brought to you by Puzzlebilities, where you can immerse yourself in a world of relaxation and challenge with Puzzlebilities' latest innovation, the Lavender Scented Sensory Jigsaw Puzzle. Crafted with care and design to soothe your senses, this puzzle combines the joy of puzzling with the calming aroma of lavender. Visit Puzzlebilities.com, where you can order the new lavender puzzle and subscribe to a subscription box and receive quarterly sensory jigsaw puzzles that tickle your senses year-round. Are you interested in learning more about autism? We recommend Autism Speaks, a leading autism advocacy organization offering comprehensive resources, research, updates, and support for individuals with autism and their families. We also recommend the Center for Disease Control and Prevention. They provide reliable information about autism spectrum disorder, including statistics, diagnosis, and treatment options. We also recommend the Autism Society, a nonprofit organization dedicated to improving the lives of individuals with autism through advocacy, support, and education. Their website provides valuable resources and information for individuals and families affected by autism. We definitely recommend your local autism support groups and organizations. Many communities have local support groups and organizations that offer workshops, seminars, resources for individuals and families affected by autism. These groups can provide valuable support and connect you with others who understand your experiences. By accessing information from reputable sources, you can gain a better understanding of autism and access resources to support individuals with autism and their families. Please note that this episode features reenactments and dramatized details. While in most cases the exact verbatim dialogue may not be known, all dramatizations are grounded in research. To respect the privacy and confidentiality of individuals involved, names and some identifying details have been changed. Do you have an interesting caregiver story that you would like to have told? Please email us at podcast@takecaretime.com. We would love to hear from you. Till next week, take care.